book here. I was checking it out earlier. I was like, might have to do the old, get a bedtime story to my grandkids or something like that about the book there. And so, is it based on something like that? There, will let me know what's going on with it.
Okay. Well, first of all, welcome. I want to thank you for welcoming me to your studio. Yesterday, so during the Christmas time, I usually go out. I'm very given. I'm very Christian, and I picked up one of your DJs in Niagara Falls, and I was speaking a little bit about the book and the reindeer down, and how I picked them up is I go out during the Christmas time, usually 3 to 4 weeks before Christmas, and I kind of promote my book and my reindeer to local areas in Rochester, Buffalo, Niagara Falls. In the giving spirit, I usually hand out a lot of books. I hand out a lot of reindeer dolls. I usually go into the in the city and the outskirts, and whoever I meet and I talk to, I share my story, and those that I think that I can help, I actually give away a lot of these. Matter of fact, in Rochester this past week, we gave over 40 books and reindeer dolls to the Ronald McDonald House and the charities in Rochester, and they gave them away to all the kids. We signed the book for them. We also then, that same day, we hit the Calisano Children's Hospital, and we gave away those books as well. Last year, I did this well. Now, the story came in, Finding Snowflake, the book, last year, and right before Christmas. So I didn't have a lot of time to promote the book, but we did get it out to the local areas. And I went in the city, and I would drive around as an Uber driver, and whoever I would pick up, I would give a reindeer doll, and the book away to. So,
so you brought 2 reindeers into the studio today. You should have brought like the whole box with you, so we could have just gave them away on the air to the folks, right?
I do.
Well, that's what
I have reindeer dolls in my car.
Yeah. How many you got? How many you loaded with them, or what?
Probably like 30 or 40.
Oh, so you're the reindeer man then, right?
I got reindeer and I got books, and if you want to give away a couple callers in, we could do that. I have that. I thought of that.
I mean, that's the season of what we here to do.
Well, you hear that, callers? Yeah. I mean, listeners. And I called you callers because you can call 716-837-1112. And if you're interested in getting a reindeer and book to know more, not only about the book, because there is a movie associated with it that is going to tell us about. And so you know what to do. Just call, leave your name and number when you call, and you will be called back. And it has to happen while we're on air.
Right.
Okay.
So a little bit more about the story. So I'm touched on this a little bit because I was at a early age from years 8 to 13 for 5 years. I was kind of in a convalescent hospital, like a foster care, and a little bit of me is in the story in Nick. The way intuitive, smart. The 3 main characters are Nick, Noel, and Noah. And Noah is the little mixed race boy, and he's really the kind of the star of the show, because at the end of the book and at the end of the movie, Santa in my book and movie, he grants Christmas wishes with this magical reindeer, and he leaves it in certain areas around, and if kids find it, they make a wish, and their wish will come true with this story. So he carries that little reindeer with him everywhere he goes, little Noah. And at the end of the movie, a great twist in it and a great turns in this movie. At the end of the movie, Santa asked the children, "What was your wish?" And the first one, Nick says, "Oh, I wish that Nick and Noel and I could be a family. They all could be together and be adopted by a wonderful family." And Noel says, "Oh, that was my wish too." And little Noah says, "Yeah, that was my wish as well." So Santa looks at them and he says, "Okay, now it's time to choose your journey." And they say, "Well, we don't understand. We just want to go back and be adopted." He goes, "Well, I can take you back to the orphanage and you'll be adopted by a wonderful family." And he shows them kind of in this glass dome what their life would be being adopted. And then as Santa asks them, "Or you can help me stay here at the North Pole and help me grant other children's Christmas wishes with the magic of Snowflake." And the children look at each other, go, no, we want to go back. We want to be a family. We want to be a family. All of a sudden, they're over on the left-hand side near a Christmas tree, and little Noah comes over, the star of the whole book, and grabs on Santa's jacket. He tugs on it. He looks up at Santa larger than life and says, Santa, what about all the other kids and their wishes and their hope? And he goes, Santa looks down and he goes, well, Noah, you could stay with me and help me grant these wishes. And he goes back to the older two and he says, let's do it for the little kids and the other kids that don't have anything. Let's help Santa grant their Christmas. Let's stay here with Santa. So they come back and they go back to Santa, and the little one looks up and goes, we'll do it. And Santa looks down and he goes, great choice. And then he looks at Snowflake. Little Noah hands Snowflake up to Santa, and he says, Snowflake, do your magic. And magically the children turn into elves. And he looks at them and he says, Nicholas, Noel, and Noah, welcome home. You were the missing elves that went missing last Christmas Eve in a once-in-a-century snowstorm. And they look at each other and go, I don't remember. He goes, well, you lose your memory to hide the secrets of the North Pole. Then he says, little Nick, he goes, Santa, who am I? He goes, well, Nick, you were the Tinker Elf. You fixed all the things around the North Pole, and you fixed everything. Get back. We're going to need you back at the North Pole. Noel, you're the singing elf. You sing all the songs to make the elves go real fast on Christmas Eve. And little Noel grabs little Santa's jacket again, and he says, Santa, who am I? He goes, you're the most important elf of all. You put the giant star in the Christmas tree to spread the spirit of Christmas throughout the world. And Noah, without you, there is no Christmas. He goes, I knew I was special. So that's kind of a little bit of.
So Roland, we hearing you doing a whole story. Almost had us like we were about to have some little tea and cookies here. But so you saying you having a casting? You're trying to make this into a movie.
No, it is.
Right?
It's
going to be a movie.
Yes,
when is it? So who are the cast in the movie?
I can't get into the cast
well,
right
I'm just
now.
saying, did you have opening cast?
Not yet. Not until the first quarter. It's going to be in March. We're starting.
So it's going to be a public casting.
Yes.
I mean, people just interviewing. Anyone can go. Is it going to be in Buffalo, Hamburg?
In Hamburg, we're going to. So most of the scenes will be for the reindeer scenes in the book. Will be shot in Hamburg, New York, at a reindeer farm.
So what about
the regular
opening cast for people that's going to be playing these parts that you're mentioning?
That's left up to the casting agent. Again, I'm the author, and I also actually own the script. So I paid Keone Waxman, who has done a lot of stuff with Steven Seagal back in the 80s and 90s.
Right.
He's the one that wrote the script. He's also now doing a lot of.
Because we want to know. We just don't just throw it out, and then our community don't know.
Well, there will be some casting for Hamburg scenes, but the rest of the movie, because of the budget, will be cast in the Italian Alps. There's in Italy. So we have some scenes here in Hamburg. The scenes we're going to build a set here in Hamburg, New York, but a lot of it because of the there's no unions in Italy. So a lot of the scenes will be shot in Italy. But we're going to have some scenes here that are going to be in Hamburg.
Yeah,
okay.
Come on, mother.
No. Don't say mother as a defense, because
that's good. It feels like that's not a defense.
So this is what I would like to offer Roland Eddie, because that is a cool name. My husband's name is Martin, so I always love when these names. But when you do have the casting happening in Hamburg, I do have a relationship with someone who works at one of the churches out in that space.
Okay.
So it sounds like it's a multicultural group of children, but if I don't know, are you from Buffalo?
No, I'm from Canandaigua, New York.
Okay, so let me give you a landscape real quick of Buffalo. Buffalo is like the 9th most segregated city in the country.
Okay.
And so typically when things happen in the South Town, even though you're trying to have a multicultural cast, that's a haul. And so the offer that I want to make is that when it's closer to cast time, if you want my contact information and you do want some diversity in that, we can provide transportation to have some other young people of color to be a consideration.
Okay.
Because typically, even though it's only 15 minutes away,
Right.
often what happens is that we'll find out after the fact, because many of the people in the city will do stuff north of the city, but rarely. I grew up in West Seneca, which is out where you're going to be doing your casting. Rarely do you really see much diversity out there. And then Lackawanna, which isn't too far, it's actually a city where Bethlehem Steel isn't that far, but Hamburg feels very far to people. And I think that's the point that Murray's trying to bring up.
So we are working with the, we have been in communication last year with the Buffalo
Urban League?
No, the cat the
Squeaky Wheel, places like that.
no, they do the film, the Buffalo Film.
Oh, okay.
For the city
film commission. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good too.
We've been in contact with them.
But I think having an additional right directly to the community kind of relation contact and such, what Latasha was mentioning, like that's really a plus. Remember earlier I was mentioning somewhat of the racial dynamic.
Right.
And it's because we're in an age now where we have to be purposefully engaging in that. And we see it on TV as we talk about the LGBTQIA community in there, because the visual effect is hugely important. And I'm not saying you haven't thought about that.
Oh, I'm already incorporated. But
yeah, and on the strong end, this is a heartwarming story, and I felt like even as old as I am, as a small kid, hearing that the principles involved, the relating together, the camaraderie between the kids, and so forth. I mean, you can't dismiss it as being like, because some of us, well, this is not black enough or it's too white.
Right.
We're not saying that. We're just saying there are ways to make it more inviting to this diverse community. And so Latasha just happened to hit on
in the orphanage. I think we're looking around Holly. So we need a diversity in there, like
that's
Spanish.
That's straight up diversity. Now, Tasha just said, in our community across the nation, you have so many diverse groups of kids. Right now, look what just happened with young folks being rounded up, and now they're in that same stage. I don't know as far as them being in a building now, but we have a lot of homeless kids right now that just came from over, abroad and came across the border. And to fit this program or this story, it's going to have a lot of diversity children in it. And then when you're saying you're going to, where you say you're going to, the Alps or whatever?
The Italian Alps.
Okay, so now I was like, how is it?
Okay, that's for the
but I get you see there's a lot of black people there,
There's
but
a lot of people
but I'm saying the point is though, wouldn't it be a great adventure to take the youth from here down there to experience some of the stuff that's going to be taking place? If you're going to have
up to Italy, up to Hamburg, that can happen. They can't go to Italy though. That's
well, I'm just saying, if you're going to have this, the casting crew, right? Are you going to AI it, or I'm trying to figure out how you're trying to do this?
So when they cast, first of all, we looked at some locations for the orphanage in there was a couple of old buildings that were psychiatric wards, and we looked at those buildings. So when we cast, there's going to be 100 kids in this orphanage because it's the last orphanage that there is. So there's going to be a diversity in that orphanage, and that will probably keep local. But the elf villages and the Santa village and the North Pole and the reindeer and all that stuff is more for where there's a lot of snow. Yeah. But there's the diversity of that, because this story really, the kids ask, where do the elves all come from? And Santa says to them, all over the world. So you're going to have Chinese and Japanese and black and Spanish, and that diversity in there as the children in the orphanage, because we want to touch everybody,
right?
Because Christmas is for everyone.
It's for everyone.
So so that's how I'm trying to get to that. We'll do a lot of the scenes in the orphanage. Will be some scenes where the kids there's a diverse scenes for kids.
Do you make movies ongoingly, or you just?
No, this was my book. I had another book called Santa's Reindeer Story, how the reindeer got their name.
All yours around Christmas themes?
They're all Christmas themes. As part of a series called Tales from the North Pole.
Okay, because in maybe tag in your future, and I'll throw it out there, a connect where a more updated story that might even include more purposefully this dynamic we just talked about.
I do. It's called The Great Elf Adventure. That's the next book. It's part of the series called Tales from the North Pole. And again, like I said, this scenes that we're going to shoot locally will have a multi.
We agree. We just hold on. Can I just say one thing? The only reason I'm just trying to put this offer out here for you, Roland, is I don't want people. This is a Black radio station, right. And so we want to just make sure that we know you have really great intentions. I could hear it in your heart. I'd actually like to know a little bit more about your origin story, why you're so connected to Christmas, because most people, there's a reason for that. Yep. So we just wanted to make sure that while you're here, we are putting it front of mind so that as you continue to navigate around this space, there's just some unique dynamics about the city of Buffalo. And Canandaigua was closer to Rochester, like that way, right?
Right.
Yeah, I know someone who has a lake house there. Yeah. So I just want to make sure that holistically we have you on this radio station and people aren't calling and saying, well, what is his agenda? Because I think your heart space seems very, very pure, and I'm really excited about the project. So that's why I wanted to make that actual connection. If you are struggling with making sure that happens, we want to make sure that we reduce any types of barriers to you making sure that you had a good heart effort in spite of the outcome, because once it gets to the money people, that's kind of out of your control.
Correct.
And I understand that. So I just wanted to.
So I am the author, but I also own the script.
Yeah.
So last year when there was a strike, I paid the writer to write the script.
Right.
I own the script. So I have some say on who I can put in there, even though there's a casting agent and there's an executive producer and so on and so forth, which is there's a company I'm working with in California called Hollywood Media Bridge, and they actually work with the streamers. So it's there. They know about it. The casting is going to start in the first quarter, and the budget's already done. And we're trying to bump the budget up a little bit. And how they do that is, who do we cast? So there's some talk on. I don't really want to mention his name because I'll get in trouble. But there's some name actors in there, and it's going to do very well.
Well, I want to just say to both you and Latasha, particularly, Latasha, first I want to thank you for raising what you raised and saying it. I mean, community. Look, we know our community. And the things that we're pointing out that we want to pull out of play with what we're discussing is important to note that, because we know that there's some of those. But the direct line to doing more, I'm like, you're willing. And that question you said that you asked about wanting to know why around the Christmas thing is one I like to hear. And I also want to end by saying, can I get you to stay an extra half an hour? Okay, so then we would like you to talk about what got you focused on the Christmas thing and what else comes up as we go along.
Yeah.
No,
I'd love to answer some questions.
I was gonna ask the same question. I was gonna say, I know you're coming on here to build kind of awareness about the book.
Correct.
We have a couple different stories in that Tales from the North Pole. What is it particularly about Christmas that makes it so special to you?
So here's the thing that I wanted to put out there to your listeners. So the first thing is I was brought up Christian like my whole life. I really never drank, matter of fact, I've never had a drink, never smoked, never did drugs. And the most important thing to me is my mother, who was also Christian, would say to me, always try to do more for others in a day than you do for yourself. Now I live by that. So I go out and I, Uber around. I actually am an Uber driver as well. And that's how I met your DJ. And I give out free things. I mean, that's part of what I do. I worked with the Ronald McDonald House and gave them. I worked with the Galisano Children's Hospital. I gave them and I signed it. Not because of publicity, but more to give. And this story is that, there's other train stories out there and train rides that are out there in the public that it's very expensive to go on. All right. These are at the tourist railroads throughout the Western New York. There's several railroads and they do these train rides, reenactment of the book and movies of other train rides. And mine is more a story that gives, I don't know whether it's underprivileged or people that may not be able to afford this on these other rides because of how pricey they are. So I've kind of come up with something that allows everyone the opportunity to maybe enjoy a train ride and a book. Now, I've made this available to everyone to look at for free. So you could log on to my website right now, and until January 1st through the Christmas holidays,
What's the log site? I mean, what's your site?
findingsnowflake.com. Now check it out. You just go there, put your name and email in. It loads the audio flip book, who was done by a very well-known artist. His name is Art Brown. He does a lot of voiceovers. The book is completely narrated, and guess what, guys? You can look at it for free.
What about the train ride?
The train ride won't be until next year.
Okay.
We're going to pick out a local railroad. We're in negotiations with 2 right now. Once those negotiations we completed those negotiations, we're going to make the ride more affordable to everyone, so that they have an opportunity, because some of these rides that they take their kids on are, $50, $60, $70 a person.
like air travel.
So during Christmas time, you would rather for them to be at a certain price,
There will be
discounted out, and
well, not discounted, just a lower price to the families, and that will be coming to some
so that's
area
a
roads.
discount. Either way, go ahead. You saying it's
So
not a
lower
discount.
ticket price, not a discount.
Well,
Just
it's
a lower ticket
price, and where they're gonna go from Buffalo to Niagara Falls, because we do have.
There's several
The-
railroads
yeah.
we're talking to. We haven't pinned down
So let me
anybody
give you
yet.
some. I'm gonna give you some what we got here in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
If you took a ride from downtown Buffalo to Niagara Falls, they have a snow train
Right
here. That's a nice small little ride for our area, so people can buy in this. It doesn't cost that much for them just to ride it. They can get on downtown and then ride right to Niagara Falls, and then now we can collaborate to both cities on this adventure that you have, and it can make it work that way. That's all I'm doing, because you're gonna have to, like you said, on this air on the Jim Anderson show, you're gonna get folks that's gonna talk to you. They haven't called in yet. Give you their state opinion about certain things, and to me, it seemed like if you want to just say a train ride, they're not gonna go all the way from Buffalo to Rochester, but
So
the smallest end of the route from here, because I used to work for the train company, is from Buffalo to Niagara Falls. That's the slowest route back, because
So
it starts down here.
let me
We're the
explain.
end of the line for the trains. You know that, right?
Yeah, so let me explain what this is. There are several tourist railroads, and I don't want to mention any particular, all right now. But there are several tourist railroads that do the Santa trains. Some have the North Pole Express, some have other, I don't want to mention other names, okay? I just want to mention what I offer. So this story has elves on the train. They have characters. So we're going to build our own, we're casting this show, and next year we'll have this up for sale to the public, similar to other Christmas train rides at a lower cost, and that are out there currently. So that's part of this, where there's the cookie owls, there's Spritz and Sprinkles, the cookie owls. There's Cocoa and Scoops, the hot chocolate owls. There's the dancing owls. They make Santa Claus. So there's all these characters that we're building into. That's part of the story. That's why this story has come about, because we're kind of like competition to other, I don't want to mention the names,
That's okay.
but other train rides
I
that
know
are out there.
I keep saying stuff on this today. So interesting. So are you connected to any of the larger Christian organizations that have like the multi-million-dollar budgets to help you?
I am not currently.
So I really do want to talk to you like
Okay.
offline, not online,
Okay.
but offline, because there are organizations that are faith-based that have resources that are looking for opportunities like this and do have the budget, and then they're also doing many productions of what you're trying to do on a larger scale.
Okay.
They do that currently. So like I said, I want to know more about that before I make those connections.
Correct.
But I will say that I know it's too early. So when I hear you say ticket price, I think of like Southwest making air, affordable to everybody. At least that's how they started. We don't know where they are now, but that's how they started.
Right.
That's how
Or
they
even,
started.
yeah. So just
There, like I want to say, there are these currently right now. There's several railroads. We test marketed one down in the Southern Tier, which I can mention. It's the Cooperstown Railroad.
right.
Now they do a Santa train. they offered our book and our reindeer to the customers, and they sold out of our book and reindeer. Like whatever I brought them, they're all gone. And that Cooperstown Railroad loves it. Okay, so they're thinking about doing this as a ride in the future, as a train ride, like a reenactment of the
Right.
book and the movie. So there are several other railroads, again, currently in this market that are doing other
Absolutely.
name brand, train rides that are name brand, and the tickets are very expensive.
Super expensive.
It's like $200-$300 for a family to go. Now, I'm not downplaying that, but I want to make this ride affordable for everyone.
Right.
And it's going to be in a reenactment with elves and characters like Big E, the engineer, and Cole and Ash, the
Biggie Small? No.
Big E. We got Big E, the engineer. We got Cole and Ash, the little train guys, and you got Spritz and Sprinkles, the cookie. So you have all these different characters that will be on the train that will make a train ride similar to what's out there right now. Very similar
to the book, basically.
Based on the book.
So we want to mention Happy Kwanzaa. If we don't do that, I mean, we talking about Santa and all that there, and this is the season for Happy Kwanzaa. Did you ever think about writing anything about Kwanzaa in your book? Did that ever take place there?
Well, this took me about 2 years to get to this point.
Kwanzaa been around longer than that.
So I know.
So now you here at the station, and I'm going to, this is the shake-up part I bring to it. And this is why the lines are just now starting to ring. People going to start asking the question, you got a great book here, but have you thought about a diversity book?
Yes, I have.
Well, guys, you know, go ahead.
No, I was
just going to say, you think of it in a trifecta in terms of, even as you talk about Kwanzaa, you got to talk about Hanukkah, as you talk about Christianity. Yeah, you gotta, but all those in play, and those who have of a different practice shouldn't be upset. Yeah, okay.
We're going to break, and
we're going to go to that break, and we'll be back. And because we're also going to take a moment to give an update to say that the people who are holding the city money meeting today.
Happy Kwanzaa.
And
Happy Kwanzaa.
There's a 11 o'clock, but there's a later one, but they don't say much.
We're off.
Oh, okay, we could.
So I don't know, you guys, I also was a very big concert promoter in Rochester. I've done Lou Rawls many years.
So if you're looking to give
I've
more
done Barry White, I've done Red Man and K Solo, and I've been very much into the. I mean, I've been around.
Well, you ain't a baby now.
I'm not a baby. I'm 60 years old.
You're a baby. You're the baby.
I'm 63, but I've done some big concerts, and I've done, like I said, Lou Rawls at the UV Center for the Arts, always sold out. I love Lou. Lou was one of my best. I made the most amount of money with Lou Rawls.
This book seems like it's like similar. I mean, the book it looks so familiar. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this familiar to what? I mean,
other places like that. I mean,
Wegmans.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice book. I mean, it just looks so, a grabbable book.
I like that.
Excuse me. Please remind the children that I'll be giving free golf lessons in presence. You have the information.
Do you want to go online? We're on live. You want to say it?
Hello, sir.
Good morning.
The name's Kente Claus.
Kente Claus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
let's go on there.
Please.
Come on.
I'm not.
Say it again. Say it again, because I'm live right
Hello,
now.
everyone.
Oh, no, wait. I want to get right here.
We've been good.
We've been good. Now he's a story. You want to do a story? He's the one that.
I just want to please have the information.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness, there's cameras everywhere. This is truly a multimedia empire here. There's cameras and microphones everywhere, and professionals. You can have all the mics, but if you don't have the professionals behind the mic, the product suffers. And this is why WFO is so legendary, everyone. Kente Claus here.
I've been good, but the guy in the black hat.
You are better. But when you are bad,
I'm going to be better.
So where are you going to be?
So we're going to be at Encore. My dear friends at Encore have allowed us to use the golf simulator. Yes, that's right. So starting at 12 o'clock, we are doing holidays on the fairways.
He just walked in the studio. Slide that microphone to Kente Claus real quick. Say where we're gonna be at, sir. Let us know right now. We're on the air with the Jim Anderson Show. We got a real Santa Claus came in here from the hood.
Well,
Yeah,
well, I am a Claus, not a Santa. But a
Not a
Claus.
Santa. Yeah.
There's
Okay.
many clauses for many causes.
Okay.
Oh, indeed. So Kente Claus here. Thank you so much for the challenger for putting me on the front paper last week. It's such an honor, and
Yes.
so many organizations in the community have been so generous in inviting me in to share the story of Christmas, and joy and hope to all their audiences. It's been an honor. So I have one last day here in Buffalo, New York, because you're all so
One
near
last
and dear
day.
to my heart. My last day. Tomorrow is actually Kente Claus Day in the city of
Yes,
Brampton.
it is.
In
Okay.
Brampton.
I forgot you
That's
got
right.
dual citizenship.
Well, they have. Well, I have international
Yes,
citizenship,
sir.
sir.
Yeah,
I'm a Claus,
yeah.
of course.
Yes, sir.
But anyways, so tomorrow the city of Brampton will be honoring me, and I will be on CBC Radio discussing our big event in Brampton. But nevertheless,
You got
today,
some golf stuff
today it's
going on
about
today.
Buffalo. It's about Buffalo.
Oh, tell me about it.
And my friend from the Salvation Army gave me presents for all the children
Mhm.
who arrived today. We will be at Encore, which is a golf simulator space right here in downtown Buffalo.
What's
It's
the address?
Holidays on the fairways.
Yes.
So please, I'll turn it over to you, Six. You have the information.
Yes, we're gonna
Share it
pull
with
up.
your audience. It's in
Yes.
your phone.
Mhm.
And I hope to see you all soon.
Nice to meet you.
Kente Claus just came in the studio.
Indeed.
That's what we talking about.
Yeah.
You got to bring him in now. You talking about
Yeah.
Santa Claus?
You ain't
No,
got to write
and
that
look,
book on Kwanzaa. That's a
gotta
black
call
person's job. Okay,
We don't have
remember
callers,
that.
bro.
I
You-
remember that.
Yeah,
You
you
see
don't
how
have to.
we
You
just
can
had-
write
that's what
one,
we
but
talking
that
about
ain't
now.
Yeah, I like
necessarily
that.
your
You
job.
like that, right?
Yeah.
I think
You
we
got
have
to
a
bring
caller.
everybody in.
We have a
You know what I'm
caller.
saying? Got a caller on the air. Go ahead, caller, you on the air. Caller, you on the air.
Caller, you on the air. Don't listen to your phone. Talk.
Your radio. Turn down your radio. Caller, you on the air.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead, talk. You're on. Go ahead. We're gonna
We're gonna go back to the story on hand. Caller, call back when you get yourself
going
together.
once, going twice, gone.
Wow.
Yes. So what do you think about that? Kente Claus coming into
I
the
think
studio?
that's very unique. I like the diversity. I think that's very unique. And I like that he says he wasn't Santa Claus, he was
Kente Claus.
Kente Claus.
And
Okay.
there are many
Caller.
clauses.
Yeah, I like that. I like
We got
that.
a caller
That's
on the air.
interesting.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead on the Jim Anderson Show.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Turn your radio down, sir.
You hear us?
You have to turn your radio down.
Turn your radio down or off so that you can hear us. Otherwise, we're gonna have to hang up. Speak now. Moving on.
Kente Claus came back in the studio here. He's back in.
Yes, well,
you don't have reindeer, do you?
No, I don't. I have Uber.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It's one thing we don't do is we don't fill the heads of the children of lies.
Thank you.
And I understand there are precious lies.
Mhm.
This is why I have to do what I say I do. And that's why we go out to the
Shake it
Caribbean
up,
and we
Kente.
distribute. Well, it's important,
Yes.
right? Because this suit provides an opportunity to reach the children like no other teaching medium that we have at our disposal.
Mhm.
So I use this as an opportunity to remain true to the story of Christmas. The reason for the season, it's not about the toy, it's about the boy.
Mhm.
That's right. So my greatest grandfather, King Kente, was actually present at the birth of Christ. That's right. He's one of the three kings. Do you know all three kings? They all brought gifts.
Yes.
Well, my greatest grandfather brought the gift of gold from Ghana, which is why I wear the Kente here on my fabric as a tribute to Ghana. But nevertheless, he wrote down the story of the birth of Jesus. Well, we call him Yeshua, of course, what his mother called him. And then we talk about the story of their trip to Africa. Does anyone here know where, in fact, the Bible tells us that Jesus, Yeshua, and his family went to avoid persecution?
Mhm.
Does anyone here in the room know?
We got a caller on there. Let's just
Well, maybe they know.
Yes, caller, you on the air. Go ahead, caller. Same caller.
Hey, it's Neptune Adam.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Well, just want to say first off that we really appreciate you having rolling on. I think it's really awesome to share this diversity piece. I think that you guys are asking the right questions. We actually met Roland yesterday on the way to the Buffalo Bills game. He was our Uber driver. We love the story. We just wanted to call in and say hi. We love you, Roland. We're supporting you, and really appreciate you sharing this story with people in thoughts that matter.
All right.
Appreciate it.
We were in the Uber with you yesterday at the Bills game.
I know, I remember you. I had a great time.
genuine man Roland was, and really touched my heart.
They actually got the book
Being in
in the
the
reindeer.
Christmas season, it's so important that, you know,
The
we're in
message.
tune with the kids, because that's what it's all about.
All
And,
right.
and you know, Roland's story and his book shows such amazing values. And, you know, Christmas time in December, when I grew up, December was always about the values. And, you know, being able to hear it from someone so high class like Roland is just so genuine and heartwarming. And, you know, Roland, we just want to say thank you so much. We know that you're next up, and we can't wait for your movie, and we're here to help in any way. And, you know, I think it's so important to be diverse the holiday season.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, and go Bills.
Go Bills.
Indeed, go Bills.
Go Bills.
All right.
Indeed. Well, so the answer to the question is that they went to Egypt. The Bible tells us they went to Egypt. And so I helped them understand that the first steps that Yeshua took was on African soil. That's right. His first friends were most likely little African children. So indeed, Egypt and Africa is very near and dear to the Savior's heart. But I wanted to thank WIGO in Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia.
I just left Atlanta.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
You been? How you getting back so fast?
City International.
Well,
Oh,
indeed.
yeah, that's
Indeed.
Uber and
Indeed. Indeed.
Okay.
Well, Uber and a little bit
Okay.
of sprinkle a little bit of JetBlue in there. But nevertheless, yes, nevertheless, WIGO rolled out the red and white carpet for me.
Did they?
Yes, as they provided a platform where we launched a new campaign called
Mhm.
Santa Claus Day.
Mhm.
And this is a day where all the Santas and all the Clauses around the world, they donate their time to a cause that's near and dear to the heart. So I've actually been traveling from Atlanta. We've had some wonderful experiences with Santas in that region.
Mhm.
And I worked my way back here all the way to Buffalo.
Too, 'cause it's about 40 degrees.
Oh, it was a pleasant time indeed.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I met so many Clauses who have different causes around the world. Encore Golf Simulator.
19 Elm Street.
19 Elm Street, that's
Fifth
right.
floor.
And this is a good
Fifth
Elm
floor.
Street, not the Elm Street that we know from the movies. This is a happy Elm Street. Indeed, all. So,
Kente is shaking it up on the Jim Anderson show.
well, it's an honor to meet Jim Anderson. He has been doing work in this community tirelessly, serving as a mighty, mighty
Do
servant.
you have a toy for
We
Jim
honor
Anderson?
you. Yes, of course we do.
Yeah,
Just candy cane,
Candy.
but it has a little special in it. Has some little special in it.
There's
All
a
right,
caller.
see you all soon.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Kente Carr.
Love you,
Jim Anderson
Kente
show.
Carr.
Go ahead. Call it. Caller, you on the air. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen. This is Dr. Doyle calling.
Hello, Mother Doyle. I can call her Mother
Strong,
Doyle.
too.
How you doing, Mother Doyle?
I'm doing fine. I just wanted to say, I don't know if Casey Claus is still there.
He
I
had
wanted
just
to say
stepped out.
hello to him. And I wanted to remind your audience to learn the history of Casey Claus. There's a beautiful article in the Challenger
Yes,
that
page
gives
10.
the history of the cross. Originally from West Africa, it was originally the cross of royalty. I taught my students about the history of it when I was teaching in the public schools. And I'll share a quick story with you. 30 years ago, while teaching in the schools, I was the first teacher to put a picture of a black Santa Claus on my classroom door, because I wanted to recognize the students in my classroom who were African American. It did cause a little bit of uproar, but I wanted to share that story with you. I've done a lot of things in my career as an educator that were for the first time. So you all have a wonderful holiday season, and I hope you come out to celebrate Kwanzaa.
Kente Claus just came back
I'll
in the
hang up
building,
and
mother.
listen to the rest of the show. Goodbye.
Well, I am so honored to hear her voice and to be able to be in her presence, to be able to be in her auditorium at the Frank Meriwether Library. It's one of my truly shining moments of this December to remember.
Dr. Doyle.
Oh my goodness, what an amazing storyteller and a catalyst for storytellers. She has been challenging this community for years to dig deep into their imagination and creativity and pull out what is hiding inside. And she has even put money there out of her own pocket to inspire people to articulate their vision. So I want to thank you, Dr. Doyle, for all that you've done. Thank you for giving me a shout out on the radio. Oh, Deb, I will cherish that moment forever. And I will also say that I did read the story of the Challenger about Kente. And this is why my great-grandfather, King Kente, traveled from Ghana to bring gold and Kente cloth for the brand new baby boy, Yeshua.
So we know Mount Olive Senior Manor, located 2027 Sheridan Avenue, Buffalo, New York. They're building a housing complex there. They have on page 10 in the Challenger as well. Some parameters for that there, how much it will cost to be in the house there at the new facility that's built in the neighborhood, built by Black folks. And that is a plus there. Mount Olive is doing great things in the community right off of Delavan Avenue. You can go over there and check them out. If you want to see if you qualify, it's in the Challenger to get the information, or you can call over there to Mount Olive and see what they got going on there. Let's talk about the shakeup real quick. Mr. Jim Anderson, what's going on? We know that Judge McLeod is in the race, and Mr. James Payne is officially in the race as well. And then we have others. We have about 10 people, 11 people in this race for the mayoral race. Where we at with that, sir?
Well, not chasing nobody. I'm talking about where the money at. There are a few things are bothering me. Today, as you know, the city council is meeting. Oh, we got a call? Got a call? Caller, you're on the air.
Caller.
I'll break for any caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Go ahead, caller.
Caller, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, let it roll.
Yeah, I got a couple questions for Roland here.
Okay, let's hear it.
First off, just want to say congratulations on all your success.
Okay,
Second
where are you
off,
calling
question
from?
On, how do you plan to integrate the South and all of America as a population into your book? Because I think that's so important.
Okay, so the book is done. Where are you calling from, or where are you from?
Yeah, I call from KC, from Kansas City.
Okay. Oh, all right. And so, what is your question again? How am I integrating?
Yeah, just how you're going to encompass all of America into your book.
Right. Diversity into your book.
Not just singling out the North, but being able to get all the kids of America into your story.
Okay. Well, at the orphanage, it's a very diverse at the orphanage. So the story, this is the last orphanage in the United States, and all these kids were displaced, and they all end up at this one big orphanage that are from all over the country. And this is the last orphanage before it became foster care. So the story is, when it first starts out, there's all going to be all kinds of different kids at the orphanage.
That's why I asked earlier about the displacement of kids in the United States right now, coming from abroad and coming from, at our borders. That diversity in the book. That's the same question he's asking.
More in the movie. So
Yeah,
the book only touches on it
Right,
because
right.
it's only 40 pages.
Right.
But the movie absolutely touches on it. It's going to be very diverse, and you'll see all different kinds of races in the orphanages, like Chinese and Japanese and Asian, Spanish, Black Americans, All these will be at this orphanage, and
Right.
that's how. Go ahead.
Not to cut you off, but to cut you off. I think the movie itself is as it is, it's set. And what these additional thoughts might lend itself to the possibility of a series of Finding Snowflake stories.
So the series is actually it's called Tales from the North Pole.
Well, then this is what I'm saying, that there are ways to stretch that out in a series and bring in all kinds of aspects. Look at some of these movies we've seen that come out, but the next thing you got another one. Hey, look, if James Bond movies got so many twists around what he does, the same thing can be done around these holiday Christmas themes and coming from any kind of culture.
So the main if you I don't know if you're familiar with there's other train ride books.
Yes.
All right, out there, very popular ones. They're not diverse. I don't know if you've looked at other train incorporated stories that are out there, but it's not very well diverse back in when they were produced 20, 30 years ago. Today, mine is more multiracial, and it has a lot of, like I said, the orphanage in the movie, a lot of the parts in the orphanage are going to be all kinds of students and all kinds of kids that are displaced because the story is set around the 70s. So there's all kinds of these kids that are underprivileged and that may not come from very, wealthy families and so on, that the story at the orphanage was going to be a story of hope. And that's what it's going to be pretty popular. At the end of the movie, I didn't even say the end of the movie, but the end of the movie is.
Don't say the end.
Oh,
of the
I'm not
movie.
going to say. But
No,
I don't want to say the end.
Movie. Don't say
The end of the movie is really, really cute.
Just say that.
There's a lot of twists, and at the end, it's very, very cute at the end. And
you know what you should have said?
I don't want to say the end.
I wouldn't have said no words. You know what I said? The end of the movie. The end of the movie.
It's a tearjerker.
And that's why I would have loved it.
So let's go back to Jim Anderson. We're talking about the shakeup before we got the scholar call in. So I want to go back there real quick to this. He said, show you the money, or we got a caucus going on right now at City Hall. It took place at 11 o'clock. And then at 2 p.m., they're actually having an open floor for anyone that wants to talk about the American Rescue Plan funding and the money that Mayor Brown left on the table that's now being discussed. It's so much red tape involved with that funding. It will make your head flip. Some people got it, some people didn't. But here we are right now on the Jim Anderson Show, bringing it live.
Yeah, more than the funding is that there is funding is what is the appropriate amount. Right. You got some council people saying 19 million, and you got the corporation, you got the the city comptroller saying 35,000.
And I think
35 million.
Yes, sir.
And so, but here's the thing. How did it get displayed? You got a mayor saying, the council and him had all agreed on it. And even in every change in it, the council and him had agreed on it. Okay, Matlock is changing in how they doing on TV, but I'm gonna play Matlock. Because you start with, from the moment who was in office when the mayor said the council agreed. Because those are the characters at the scene of the crime.
Now most of y'all gone.
A lot of them gone.
Yes.
And then you got to look at when it comes for a new team to fill in, what information gets transferred to them. Because it seems to me that the president of the council, if one is going out knowing there's some shaky stuff, what I'm going to say to you, hey, Latasha, I'm moving on, but keep your eye on this because it's kind of shaky. Let them know. I'm not saying, but if they did that, why didn't somebody say something? How can they at this moment say the addition and the transparency has been funky all this time, and they just now getting to a point to discovering that? And then I'll end on Councilman Wyatt. Councilman Wyatt, be careful. Because here's what you're saying. You said this in your run, I just want to help you on this. You saying the city needs somebody who will speak up for the people, who would tell the truth to the people, who will let them know Well, this is what I'm saying. You were there, and I'm like, you just now talking on that things are terrible.
But I
This is
think
the
you were
thing.
talking about it before, because
Well, not enough,
not
because
enough.
they're the ones supposed to stop business as usual. None of them did that. They stopped people who were trying to stop business as usual. That's what they stopped. Out in there,
So now
people,
we are.
you ought to be pissed.
We
I'm
closing
sorry.
down. They closing
I'm
down.
sorry.
The deadline is what, December the 31st, and here we go now with crunch time. But I'm like this. Everybody was in office, whether there was a common council or whether they're the mayor now. They're all in the office, and all this went across the table. So they allowed some stuff to go through. This happened way before this money came here. The American Rescue Plan money came on the table. You got Bray Miller right now, okay? Got big money. Now all of a sudden they're saying, well, they ain't got to pay it back. Here we go with this stuff. And I'm talking about the shakeup. So now when little organizations such as ours try to get this funding, and we got to go through red tape after red tape after red tape, the legal department play these games, and here it is. Now deadlines are coming to us, and the first thing to send what Rashid is, I've been telling y'all this before. So they all was sitting on the floor. Everybody was on the floor. Now you got new people that's coming aboard that's buying into it instead of asking questions and saying yay instead of saying nay. And that's where the problem is coming. We got too many people on the floor is collaborating together, and now Buffalo is hurting on that level.
Well, we're gonna stop there, Roland.
Okay.
But we stopped from that part. I want to go back to you in these last few minutes.
Okay.
Roland
Eddie.
Roland Eddie,
Yes.
who is not only the writer and
The author.
author of this film and this book and film, and has offered it to you to be able to check it out for free
No
online.
charge. No charge.
I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank King Shab for the connect, because that's what, see, folks, that's what you do. When something is good, you pass the word, and we're passing it on to you. And look, there's a lot that came out of this, and I'm beyond us that we ain't even got on there. So I just want to thank you. And
It was wonderful meeting your DJ yesterday in Niagara Falls. And what I was doing in Niagara Falls is I go out, like I said, to the communities, and I hand out free books and reindeer dolls. That's just part of my thing. I give free Uber ride, or not free Uber rides, but during my Uber ride. During my Uber ride, not free. Can't do free Uber rides. But during my Uber rides, I always say, I tell them about I'm an author, and I actually share I've given out 3 or 4 or 5 packages in Niagara Falls this past weekend, just giving them to kids.
well, you're at the right place now. Go ahead.
Last thing, because we're closing out in just 2 minutes, I think. But you know what? For all of you aspiring entrepreneurs, one of the things I love about Roland Eddie, this is what he said. I'm going to do on-time, real-time marketing in Uber. So he's making money while he's promoting. So we all trying to say we have no way to do marketing. He had people from Kansas City reaching out today. He had other people calling us today that we've never had that stretch as just without an advertised guest. So if you want to learn a tip for today, y'all better drive an Uber. I might drive an Uber so I can promote some stuff I'm doing. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Tell you, I've probably sold over 200 books and reindeer dolls in my car.
200 books.
Yeah.
Look at that.
He's passing them out. That's why they get.
Plus, I give some free. I've given a lot of free ones,
Right.
especially in
So
when I
see
do
you
my
at the Bills game
Niagara.
next week, right?
I'm driving around. I am driving around.
Driving around.
Thank you very much for having me as a guest. I appreciate your radio station and all your hospitality today.
Before we go off the air, Austin, one thing you want to say? You've been very quiet over there today.
I feel like if this is, I don't fight for no microphones. I ain't about to try to jump in, but my final verdict is I think that is good. I think holidays, every child deserves to feel important. Every child deserves to feel special on the holiday season, regardless of their parents' financial situation.
Don't forget to go to findingsnowflake.com. A box will pop up that says view the book for free. Click on it, put your name and email in. You can look at it. It's all narrated. It's got sound effects and music in it. It's very diverse. You'll love the story and enjoy. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Keep us involved all the way to March until there's more that can be done, and our collaborations.
Wonderful. About 2 minutes left on the air. Folks, just want to wish you happy Kwanzaa and talk to somebody. We off. We done.
You want to take a picture with your
Yeah, we're going to